Hello, hunters, and welcome to Tales of the Monster Hunter, a Monster Hunter fan fiction series where I'm going to read short stories I have written that dramatize hunts and tell fan-made stories based on my character within the amazing world of Monster Hunter. Please feel free as I read to imagine your own character instead of mine as we go through the story. Today's story, and the first Tales of the Monster Hunter, is called Palamute Promise. I was laying up against a rock wall, bleeding in the sandy plains. It was nightfall, but the moon illuminated the battlefield in the vast open desert on the outskirts of the plains. I could see the monster in front of me, but I can barely remember how I ended up against this rock wall. The wind was completely knocked out of me, and my right shoulder was knocked completely out of place and rendered useless. I suddenly started to remember as time seemed to freeze. Oh yeah, that's right, I thought to myself. I had managed to dodge the meteor shower that the risen crimson glow Valstrax stormed down on me from the sky above, and then barely managed to counter the actual impact of the ambush as it stormed back to the earth. But this monster was more powerful than any I had seen. It did not slow down. It was relentless. Before I could even catch my breath and regain my footing, after barely avoiding disaster from the ambush attack, the beast used its rocket-powered wings to spin around in a circle and hit me directly in the chest with all its power, flinging me into the rock wall where I now lay on the other side of the open desert. In the process, it scattered my dual blades away, and once I hit the wall, I could not move, I could not breathe, and my right shoulder ran directly into the wall. I think I'm going to die, I thought to myself. I thought this may happen one day, being a hunter and all, so I understood and tried to find peace inside in my final moments. But unfortunately, I began to panic when I remembered my Palamutes. My buddies, who I love more than anything, were out here on this battlefield too. And now I'm powerless to protect them. Once this monster finishes me off, it will almost certainly try to do the same to them. A Palamute is loyal. They have to listen to me, I thought. My oldest, Annabeth, is safe on Buddy Recon, above us in the sky. The Valstrax likely has not noticed her. But I have to order Willow and Alex, my other two Palamutes, to run, and so I did. Run! Willow, Alex, get out of here! I'm sorry I couldn't do better, but you have to leave. I heard them howl and cry at my command, but I knew they had to listen. I love you, I said to them, tears running down my face. And then I found out what it was like for my life to flash before my eyes. My mind started drifting away and recalled all the events of today in an instant. It was a beautiful afternoon in Elgato Outpost earlier today. The waves of the sea were calm and brushing along the shore gently. The sun was setting, and there were no reports of monster sightings. A day like this was rare for me. I've been on hunts nearly every day since the curio epidemic swept over the kingdom. I was far from my home in Kimura Village, and I missed home from time to time. I can still almost smell the subtle aroma of the cherry blossoms that line the village streets back home. That said, I've come to enjoy my time in Elgato. After all, it was where I was needed right now, and with the recent phenomenon of elder dragons overcoming the affliction and growing to become all-powerful risen monsters, that was not looking like it was going to change anytime soon, so I made the most of it. Days like today make enjoying Elgato easy, even if they are rare. Elgato has started to feel like a second home to me by now, as it's been over half a year since I first arrived. All day long, I was enjoying quality time with my three Palamutes, Annabeth, Willow, and Alex. My Palamutes are my whole world. I love them more than anything. We've always had a very close bond. And so we always enjoy a chance to relax and play together. After all, my Palamutes sacrificed so much to help me hunt. I know for certain I could not have become the hunter I am today without them. Annabeth is older and has seen her fair share of injuries as my first Palamute, so I try to make sure she always stays on recon duty when I go hunt these days, so that she can still help as she loves to do without putting her in immediate danger. Willow and Alex, my two energy-filled Palamutes, were originally bred for herding, and I was told I could not possibly train herding dogs like them to obey hunting commands. But they have grown to be the most feared Palamutes in the lands. When monsters hear their howls, they know that the end is coming, that we are coming. Their safety is still my number one priority, though, and as much as I enjoy their company, I wish they didn't have to come hunt with me. But, frankly, the truth is, a hunter is nothing without their buddy support. And a Palamute wants nothing more than to be loyal and help their hunter. It is a relationship unlike any other, one I think of all the time. We keep each other safe, and in turn, that promise keeps the people of the kingdom safe. I was playing fetch with Annabeth using my left arm and tug of war with Willow and Alex with my right. Playing my buddy's favorite games was making this day an absolute delight. Willow and Alex got the advantage on me in tug of war, and I tumbled to the ground, laughing, and instantly all three of my Palamutes pounced on me, licking me and wagging their tails, as I was laughing hysterically, having the time of my life. Hinawa, who had come to visit from the Kimura village over a month ago, suddenly came up to us and helped me gain the advantage over my three Palamutes. Now, Hinawa, my childhood friend, and I were tickling the pups and having a blast. Good girls, I said to the pups as we just started to calm down and lay there together as Hinawa walked off. And together with my pups, I was enjoying the final minutes of the gorgeous sunset over Elgato. Today was a perfect day. Suddenly, Fiorain, Admiral Gallius, and Bahari the scientist came out from the command center looking rather grim. And instantly, the whole mood in Central Plaza changed. "We have dire news," the Admiral reported. "Bahari, fill them in." "There has been a monster sighting, and it seems to be another risen elder dragon," Bahari said. "But more dangerous than any we've faced before." Fiorain then spoke up to say, "It has already taken the lives of an entire hunting party of 4 in the sandy plains earlier today. And it's fast. If it isn't stopped, it may very well come to the outpost, or even further to Kimura village. The truth is, we don't know what it may do next." I then speak up to say, "What kind of risen monster are we talking about here? Another Teostra?" "No," said Bahari. "That's the problem. It's a risen crimson glow Valstrax. The first of its kind. And based on the carnage it left behind, it's nearly unstoppable." Fiorain then said, "We will need a full party, maybe even 2 of the best hunters to take this beast down." "No." I cut Fiorain off and said, "Valstrax are fast. Risen Valstrax are likely faster than anything we've ever seen before. A full party may only give it more targets, and give me less room to dodge. My Palamutes and I will go alone. It is the only way." "Very well." The Admiral reluctantly agreed with me. "You have served this kingdom with honor over the past few months, Hunter, so we will take your advice as a fact. But please, proceed with caution." I went off to quickly grab my things and prepare. I put my coat on, made sure my Palamutes were ready, sent Annabeth ahead on buddy recon using her kite, put my dual blades on my back, and wrapped my long red hair up so that it would stay out of my eyes during the hunt. Then Hinawa approached. "You don't have to do this," she said. "I have a bad feeling tonight." "I will be okay. I was telling the truth when I said this would be worse in a large group. We got this," I said to her. "Please come back." I nodded and went off for the gate. Before we left, she looked at Willow and Alex and kneeled down to hug them, saying to them through tears, "You're good pups. Promise me you'll keep them alive." Willow and Alex both barked firmly, saying in their own way that they understood the promise that had been asked. At least I had a nice final day. At least I got to spend it with my Palamutes, I said softly to myself as the risen Valstrax charged up its wing for a piercing attack that would be the end of me. I love you, girls, I screamed through tears, crying not because I would die, but because I knew I would never see them again, and that I was leaving them alone. I closed my eyes, leaned back against the rock wall, and the Valstrax prepared to unleash its final charged thrust. And then it did. My fatal blow. Wait. I'm not dead yet. 2 or 3 seconds had passed since the attack started, and I knew that was way too long for a Valstrax, especially this risen one. I should already be dead, I thought. So I opened my eyes, thinking maybe this was the afterlife. And I quickly realized it wasn't. There she was, Willow, one of my Palamutes, honoring her promise to Hinoa, even if it meant disobeying me. She had blocked the Crimson Glow Valstrax's ferocious attack with her metal guard parasol umbrella, and dug her claws deep into the desert sand to hold a strong enough posture with her footing to withstand such force. "No, you need to run! I told you to run!" I screamed. But Willow was growling at the monster, and her eyes looked so focused. I had never seen them so sharp. She wasn't going anywhere. She had made a promise, and it hit me. Not only a promise to Hinoa today before we left, but to me when we first met. A Palamute must make that promise to its hunter the day they go on their first hunt, that no matter what, they will protect you, and in turn you protect them. That was all very clear to me now. I might have one more chance, if only my shoulder wasn't destroyed, and if only I could breathe. Because I could barely breathe, I knew I had to focus on trying to get my breath back, because Willow had bought me a few seconds. As I did that, suddenly, Alex was behind the Valstrax, high on the arched rock next to the wall I was on, and spun her double-bladed chain, wrapping it around the Valstrax's wings, preventing them from attacking. She then leapt all the way off the rock, and the force of her landing into the sand pulled the chains tighter, knocking the Valstrax over for a moment. This was my chance. I had just regained my breath, and I counted to 3 in my head, and ran full force, shoulder first into the wall, knocking it back into place. As I screamed out, I knew this was it. I had a once-in-a-lifetime chance to honor the promises we made to each other all that time ago, and this was the only opportunity I was going to have. My Palamute's bravery had bought me precious seconds to make this right. I took off running and jumped on Willow's back as she began to run. I needed to find my dual blades. Suddenly, Annabeth on her kite came down to lower skies and dropped my dual blades off to me. She must have been looking for them the whole time. "Thanks, buddy!" I screamed as I grabbed my dual blades and hopped off Willow's back, slashing down the back of the Valstrax, removing its tail. The beast then broke free of Alex's chain and regained its footing. Our eyes met, and I knew I would have to end this fast in my current condition. It was time to go for the win. It was all or nothing. Willow and Alex provided cover fire with their silk binders, and the Valstrax instantly went for the attack that got me the first time, looking to finish me off. But I was ready this time. I rolled under that lightning-fast spin attack perfectly, and then wire-bugged up toward its head using a spiral slash. And now its hard-scaled skin had a clear weak point on its throat where the slash had removed its armor. It prepared for the thrust attack that Willow blocked the first time, and this time I used my Shrouded Vault technique to counter the move, giving me an opening. I shouted, "Now you die," as I swung my blades across the throat's weak point, ending this ferocious monster once and for all. My knees buckled as the monster fell, and all 3 pups ran up to me and laid down together with me on the sand. We were exhausted, but so happy to see each other. The look in their eyes told me that from now on, I must never give up again. no matter how dire the situation is, because I owe it to them. Risen Valstrax had fallen, and it was all thanks to the unbreakable promise of my Palamutes. From this day on, that promise would be what makes me a monster hunter. Thank you all so much for listening today, and I hope you enjoyed my first fanfiction short story. If you'd like to see more content like this, please do subscribe and like the video. Comment down below if you enjoyed the story, and just thank you so much for tuning in. Maybe we'll hunt together sometime on the next stream. Thank you guys. Have a good one. This is Autobot Dawson, rolling out.